thank you so much for being here for that roundtable that we're going to share with extraordinary persons, both from France and from the Netherlands, from France, extraordinary surfers in a wonderful space here in Hartbeach Cafe. So we shall speak both French and English. We are going to mix, so I hope nobody will be lost in this translation process. But it's a great honor for us to welcome also our French ambassador, Monsieur François Labrune, who is going to introduce this roundtable. It's a 1 hour roundtable, very easygoing in the atmosphere of the Hartbeach Cafe, followed, as you would know, by a barbecue. And we are very happy to have you with us here by the seaside. So I'm very happy to give the floor immediately to our French ambassador to the Netherlands, Mr. François Labrune.
Merci, chère Hélène. Mesdames, Messieurs, bonsoir à tous. Je vais commencer en français, je poursuivrai en anglais. Je voudrais d'abord dire que je suis très, très honoré de me trouver parmi vous ce soir à l'occasion de cette journée dédiée au surf. Une nouvelle discipline sportive des Jeux Olympiques et Paralympiques de Paris 2024. Et je voudrais vraiment commencer par remercier du fond du cœur toutes les personnes qui ont rendu cet événement possible, les équipes de l'Alliance française, des Alliances françaises, et particulièrement de l'Alliance française de La Haye, du Hartbeach Club, de son école de surf, et les sportifs néerlandais et français de haut niveau qui nous font l'honneur de leur présence, Tom et Myrna BOELSMA, Céline Rouillard et Maxime Cabanne. Surf is a demanding and noble discipline, and I think a perfect vehicle of the Olympic values that are close to our heart: excellency, friendship, and respect. And as it was seen during the initiation, which I very much having missed, the athletes show courage and tenacity on the waves, and this philosophy, of course, echoes with the values of France, which managed to transcend borders. This month, as you all know, France will have the great honor to host the Olympic surfing events, which will take place in French Polynesia, and which will shed light on the diversity of our nation, geographically and culturally. And it will also enlighten the tight bonds between surfing and nature. Indeed, one of the aims of the steering committee of the Olympics is to reduce the Olympics carbon footprints by 50%. And I would like to underline also, as French ambassador to the Netherlands, that France's sports diplomacy is at the heart of our international action. And the Olympic and Paralympic Games are an exceptional springboard in promoting peace, solidarity, friendship. And I would particularly mention that between France and the Netherlands, sport is a very important, of course, instrument of our friendship. In particular, there is another event which is important this month, which is related to football. And we are always happy to have meetings with the French and Dutch teams. And we don't know, maybe we'll have a new meeting in the final, which will take place on the 14th of July. So I would like really to also express my gratitude to the 4 Alliances Françaises, which came together with the embassy's support to organize 4 impressive events, which aimed at promoting the 4 new Olympic sports of these 2024 Paris Olympics. After the breaking event in Rotterdam last April, sport climbing in Amsterdam last May, skateboarding in Utrecht in June. Today we celebrate surf. And I'd like to thank warmly all the athletes who are taking part in the Paris Olympics and in particular the Dutch surfing champions, which are with us today. They share their talent, their sense of dedication and their competitive spirit with Hassani Lecouvreur, prominent figure in breakdancing, Marianne van der Steen and Bart van Rij in rock climbing, and Dao Makar in skateboarding. These values make this great sports event all the more prestigious. Of course, there is still a long way to go before sport is completely democratized. The presence of Céline Rouillard and Maxime Cabanne, French figureheads of on the surf, a sport which has not been ratified by the International Olympic Committee, encourages us to keep up our efforts in fostering inclusion, equality in sports, especially regarding handicap, gender, and sexual orientation. So this month, as we celebrate surfing and the Olympic spirit, let's remember that these games are much more than sport competition. They are an opportunity to bring people close together and to build a bright and harmonious future between all countries which are competing, including France and the Netherlands, of course. And I invite each and every one of you to keep on promoting fraternity and supporting our athletes, which such enthusiasm. Fraternity, as you know, is one of the important principles of our celebration of our National Day with liberty and equality, and I think it's important to state it particularly today. Thank you all for your presence and your commitment. Long life sport, longue vie l'amitié franco-néerlandaise et aux Jeux Olympiques et Paralympiques de Paris 2024. Merci beaucoup. Dank u wel.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur l'ambassadeur, cher François, d'inaugurer sur un ton aussi enthousiaste cette table ronde. So thank you so much for opening in such an enthusiastic manner this round table. So thank you so much for all our athletes being present. So I'm going to introduce very rapidly our athletes. Most of you know them, but not everybody knows everybody. So I'm going to present each of you. Sorry for using English language. I promise to speak also in French to Maxime and Céline, but for most of us it's okay to speak in English. I think everybody understands. So first of all, I'd love to introduce Maxime Cabanne, who is a 31-year-old handisport man who grew up in the Basque Country, department of the southwest of France. Most of you, especially surfers, would know the Basque country, I suppose, because it's a paradise for surf, I've been told. You practice various sports, not only surf, Maxime, including handy rugby, tennis, paddle, Basque pelote, I hear that as well, and surf. So you're really a very complete athlete. So I'd be very curious to know if our other athletes are also practicing so many sports. You've been surfing since 2013 and you have taken part in 6 World Parasurfing Championship, and you are the captain of the French team. You were the captain of the French team at the last World Championships in November 2023, and your team won. So congratulations on such amazing achievements. You're accompanied today by Céline Rouillard, who is also in her own right a high-level athlete. You're 42 years old, but honestly you're 24 in my eyes. You grew up in Saint-Jean-de-Luz, a village in the same department as Maxime, another paradise for surfing, I understand. And you have been practicing parasurfing since 2015. You're currently a team world champion, and you have ranked 3rd individually in the World 2023. So really most impressive. So thank you very much, Céline, to have traveled all the way yesterday from Bilbao. So that's very impressive. So now to present our Dutch athletes, maybe more well-known from our local friends here, but Myrna BOELSMA, you are 29 years old, high-level surf athlete. You grew up in The Hague here, so The Hague is a paradise for surfers, notwithstanding the weather around us, or because of the weather maybe. You won 10 times the title of Dutch female champion, so we're really very impressed, and we thank you so much for being here. I know you only live 5 minutes away from here, but your time is precious, so thank you so much. You're a regular here at the Hartbeach Cafe, and as well as your brother. So impressive, we have a brotherhood. Just our ambassador just mentioned brotherhood, but you're really emblematic of this incredible value, because Tom BOELSMA, your brother, is also a high-level surf athlete. So incredible, must be a family discipline. You must tell us if your parents have introduced you like this to surfing when you were small. You also grew up in The Hague, and you are a very impressive Dutch surf champion. You won so many times. You have to tell us how many times you've been earning so many titles, so I can't wait to give you the floor. So that was a brief presentation of each and every one. In our assembly, we also have Douve Makare, but I don't know how to pronounce well your name. Dawe Makare. So who is skating world champion as well, and champion for the Netherlands. So we hope you will take a little bit the floor after, even though
I don't know.
you don't know, okay, but we've been so impressed. It's your day. In Utrecht, we've been very impressed by everything you're doing, and just behind us there is a skating area. So, so it's an impressive, also, you know, becoming aware that all these disciplines are having a conversation together. So I'm going to give you the floor immediately because our audience is so impatient. So my first question to all of you would be, what are the unique aspects of surf as an Olympic sport? I mean, how does it become such an enrichment or a plus for the Olympic Games surfing? And how is it different from the other disciplines? I mean, why wasn't it an official Olympic discipline before now? So who would love to start? Maybe shall we go this way and offer Myrna the floor first?
Yeah, it's great that surfing is now, after I heard 27 years, for the first time in the Olympics. It has been in Tokyo, of course. That was the very first time. But it took a lot of years to get surfing really officially in the Olympics. It goes through all procedures, and because surfing is not like a usual sport, it has a lot of environmental factors. Also, you're very dependent on Mother Nature, of course. So I think that makes it also very different from the rest of the sports. Is that you never have the same waves, never have the same weather. So it's very dependent on on Mother Nature. That makes it special.
I will let Tom to complete that, but thank you so much, Myrna, for these first elements. I mean, I come from a mountain area, so obviously skiing and anything to do with mountain sport is also connected to Mother Nature being, impetuous and transforming the rules according to the weather. But skiing has been there for a much longer period. So why do you think, maybe I'll ask that to Tom, that surfing comes after skiing?
Yeah, that's a good question actually. I think because for surfing you need some good waves as well. So not every venue got like waves in the background. So now France is the host of the Olympics and they're gonna compete at Chopu. Chopu is in Tahiti. I think Chopu is like one of the best waves in the world. It's pretty heavy waves as well. But I think back to your question, it's about, not every country got like really good waves. Like if you see the Netherlands, we got some waves, but it's not like quite consistent. Sometimes it's like flat for 3 weeks or 4 weeks. And sometimes we got some waves. So I think that's maybe the main thing. And nowadays we've got like some wave pools as well. So they can build like a pool with waves in it. So I think it gets more consistent and they can host it wherever they want. I think maybe that's the thing about it. Yeah.
Peut-être poser la question en français aussi à Céline et à Maxime. Alors, le surf arrive comme nouvelle discipline olympique aujourd'hui, mais le parasurf est encore en train de mener ce combat. Alors, comment le fait-il et est-ce qu'on est encore loin du résultat ou vous avez de bons espoirs? Et je vous donne la parole évidemment à tous les deux.
Merci beaucoup. Effectivement, on est encore en construction. Le parasurf ne sera pas aux Jeux Paralympiques. On vient de l'apprendre à Los Angeles. Et Los Angeles même a refusé que ce sport rentre comme discipline paralympique. Un problème certainement de classification. On est trop peu représentatif dans certaines catégories. Ils veulent qu'on soit plus nombreux. Et un changement certainement de système de classification est envisageable et on va faire en sorte d'essayer de faire changer tout ça. On a une pétition qui est en cours et voilà, on est au vu du nombre d'athlètes grandissant dans cette discipline, de tout ce qui est fait actuellement, on aimerait vraiment, ça serait vraiment un beau cadeau que cette situation puisse changer et qu'on montre en discipline paralympique.
Forcément, on est très déçus de ne pas rentrer dans la future Paralympiade en 2028. Mais voilà, le parasurf, c'est un sport très novateur. On a eu nos premiers mondiaux en 2015 en Californie. Ça a énormément évolué depuis ces années-là. Mais ouais, on est quand même déçus. Donc voilà, on espère peut-être se rapprocher d'un sport comme le snowboard au niveau des classifications en fait. Voilà, peut-être par rapport avec des coefficients de handicap différents et regrouper, on a 8 catégories en fait de handicap. Donc voilà, peut-être regrouper en 3 ou 4 catégories pour minimiser toutes les catégories et donc voilà, se rapprocher d'un autre sport déjà paralympique pour pouvoir peut-être intégrer la future Paralympiade. Et comme l'a dit Céline, il y a une pétition, donc on espère qu'il y ait plein de signatures et que voilà, la ville de Los Angeles revienne peut-être en arrière et qu'on travaille entre les différentes nations pour pouvoir faire évoluer tout ça et peut-être devenir paralympique un jour.
Merci Maxime. Donc, I'm not going to translate everything both of you said, but just for everybody to catch what's been said there. Céline and Maxime explained to us why parasurf is not yet an official Olympic discipline, but they are fighting for it. to this date, it's the city of Los Angeles which has opposed the possibility for parasurf to become an official discipline. So there is some lobbying to do here. So maybe here in the Netherlands we find some Los Angeles representatives, and maybe through surfers as well, there can be a great movement there. And you are explaining how classification is very difficult to obtain, and that you need to be more parasurfers and maybe to regroup the different categories to be able to succeed. But you're still hopeful, fighting, and there is an online petition. So I hope we can all sign it maybe and support your quest. So thank you so much. So maybe a few of us have mentioned a lot Mother Nature about surfing. So could you tell us the environmental aspects of surf and how surfing can contribute to the preservation of nature? If that question seems to be relevant to you.
Well, of course, you're as a surfer very aware of like the importance of the ocean and keep it protected. And like the other side is, as a surfer, you have to travel a lot, so it's not very like environmental. But yeah, we just make sure that we compensate in different things. So, for example, when we surf and we come out of the water, we always pick up plastic. So to make sure that our beaches are clean and that it doesn't wash into the ocean, because that's at the moment it's a big problem. All the plastics in the ocean, everybody knows about it. So yeah, I cannot say it's a very sustainable sport, but yeah, we make sure that we do it in a most sustainable way.
Yeah, that's a big thing indeed in the world. But as Myrna said, I think we surf a lot in oceans, and we take some videos there, and we create a lot of awareness as well there. So if we see some plastic, we make videos of it and go to the countries. There's a lot of plastic, you need to do something about it, and also on the social media. So yeah, nowadays as much as possible we're in the ocean, so we see so many plastic and it's pretty bad. But I think the awareness for it is getting better and better. So it's getting better.
C'est vrai, les premiers spectateurs on constate la pollution qu'il peut y avoir. On est pollueurs aussi avec nos combinaisons, nos planches de surf. Et il y a plein de choses qui sont mises en place justement pour recycler ça, pour justement qu'on arrête de polluer et de produire des choses dont on n'a pas forcément besoin et qu'on peut réutiliser différemment. Et c'est vrai qu'il y a plein de choses qui sont maintenant mises en place pour protéger au maximum l'océan et protéger l'environnement.
Moi, je rajouterais que on prend aussi beaucoup l'avion pour se déplacer pour des compétitions dans le monde entier, donc forcément on pollue aussi. Des fois au niveau des cosmétiques pour se protéger la peau. Donc il y a beaucoup de choses qui sont mises en place maintenant. Il y a des cosmétiques bio qui protègent les océans. Si on peut prendre moins l'avion, on essaye de le faire aussi. Aussi au niveau de l'industrie du surf, des combis, des planches, c'est en train de progresser, mais doucement encore à mon goût. Et chaque geste du quotidien compte pour essayer de polluer le moins possible. Et je pense qu'en tant que surfeur, on est proche de l'océan, on a un devoir de sensibiliser les personnes autour de nous.
So great echoes in all your answers. Just Maxime added that there are now new cosmetics that will protect the skin that can be more eco-friendly, that are more eco-friendly. So that's very interesting to open this area as well. So here we are a very gender equal panel, so it's just very wonderful. But can I ask you the question, is surfing a very gender equal world, or is it more a man's world? I mean, when I look at the pictures around us, there are quite a lot. It seems to have been much more a man's world, a man's sport, but you are two ladies here who are achieving extremely well. So could you share your experience, and you young men as well, tell us how you feel this world? Is it more a masculine world, or is it still kind of open to women and friendly to women and welcoming?
Yes, I think the majority of surfers is still the men, but it's changing, and also the level of surfing. Before there was always looked at women surfing like it's nothing or not good enough compared to the men. But if you see now the level in the World Championships, the women are really pushing the level. So, for example, this year they had a competition in pipeline. That's one of the heaviest waves in the world, and the women were surfing even bigger waves than the men. So there was a very historical moment for women surfing, and that was amazing. And still, it's there is some things to do about it, the inequality. But now they have equal prize money also. That's an improvement for sure. And they're now also improving, for example, in competitions. Usually the women were put in worse conditions than the men. So, for example, if in the afternoon there was like more windy conditions, the waves were not so good, they give the women a go, like go do the competition, and everyone was complaining about it because it was unfair that the men always got the better waves. And now they're starting to put the women in better conditions as well. So that's an improvement. It's still not there, but it's getting better.
Yeah, the thing between the men and women you see in the lineup is that I think there's like 80% men in the lineup and like 20% women. If I pedal like with my sister in the lineup, you see everyone looking like, oh, she's the only girl out there. And also if the waves get really heavy, then all the men think, you think you can do it or not? And she said, yeah, I think so. And all the men, oh, okay. So they're not used to have like the girls in lineups like that with like really heavy waves. But yeah, like a few weeks ago, we were in Indonesia and we were surfing heavy waves. We were, getting bigger and bigger waves, and she went out there as well, and everyone was looking from, wow, that's amazing, that's great. She can surf the waves as well. But yeah, compared to women and girls, women and men, there's a big comparison still, yeah.
Je pense qu'on est de plus en plus de femmes à l'eau, et pour preuve en France, 48% des licenciés sont des femmes. Donc la parité est respectée, c'est ce que l'on entend. Et en termes de salaire, c'est pareil, il y a plein de choses qui ont été mises en place, et les femmes, les surfeuses ont maintenant le même salaire que les hommes. En France, c'est vrai, l'égalité est, je trouve, assez respectée. Je sais pas ce que tu en penses.
Ben, moi, je dirais comme mes amis hollandais que il y a 48% de femmes licenciées, tu as dit, en France, mais je trouve que ça se voit pas trop au line-up, comme il le disait. Je trouve qu'on est beaucoup d'hommes, et j'ai déjà entendu malheureusement dans le freestyle des histoires un peu de discrimination d'hommes envers des femmes, et je ferai même un parallèle avec le handisurf. En freesurf, moi-même, j'ai déjà eu des problèmes de discrimination, et d'autres membres de l'équipe de France aussi, envers nous. Donc, je pense pas qu'elle soit respectée, on va dire, dans le monde du freesurf, mais dans le monde de la compétition, ça a bien évolué, et je trouve que c'est une normalité.
So great parallels between the answers from French handi-surfers as well, but observing that France is maybe a little bit ahead with 48% women having the license to surf when you talked about 2080, so a bit more in France. Maybe it's, I don't know, the weather conditions, but we have to be optimistic, and thank you very much for being icons, women icons, and men supporting women. So Thank you. It's becoming much more inclusive. Well, we have a lot of young people here, so would you have any advice to give to young people who would love to start this sport and who would like to compete or just to take pleasure in it? Just before this roundtable, we had an open class. So some of the very brave people here, despite the weather, went with wetsuits and started. We were very impressed to see how well they did, including Pim and Barry, who are here, who did it very well, very courageously.
Thank you.
We have also Mr. Makaya, who left before, who is an elected member, who did try and did have a good time. So any advice? Can anybody start? Do you have to be especially talented, strong, help, whatever? Give us your advice.
Well, I think most important is just having fun in the whole process, because surfing is not an easy sport. It has a lot of ups and downs, and it takes a long time to really get some improvement sometimes. But if you enjoy like the ups, but also the failures that are part of it, that's the best way. And I also think that it's good to maybe take a coach or take advice from anybody, because it's good, for example, to see yourself surfing, somebody taking videos of you and can help you improve faster with the knowledge. And just take as many hours in the water as you can. Especially in Holland, we don't have a lot of waves. So if you have free time, or maybe you're in school and you see it's good, maybe just skip school and go surf. We did, so that's some advice I could give.
Yeah, it's actually the same as Myrna said. Put so many hours in the water and don't put too many pressure on yourself, because sometimes the wave can get really high and really heavy, especially in the North Sea. Sometimes there's a lot of wind, and if there are waves, there's a lot of wind in the North Sea. So yeah, don't put too much pressure on yourself, and just go when you're comfortable with the waves and you feel like you're gonna have a good time out there. Because if you don't have a good time out there and you're always scared out there, then it's not good. You need to grow in it and take some steps for it. So.
And can you start at any age, or do you have to start very young? Did you start very young yourself?
I started at 10 years old. I think Myrna started 12 years old. And yeah, she started first, and she went on a soft top. Our parents gave it to her birthday, and she started surfing first, and I was on a bodyboard actually. And when I saw her surfing, I was like, wow, that's pretty great. I was always laying down my board, and she was already standing. So I was like, I want to do this as well. And then from like 10 years old, my dad gave me a surfboard as well, and then I started to surf as well. And yeah, put so many hours in the water. It's the only thing in the North Sea, it can get like, no waves for like a few weeks, but sometimes we got some good waves. And the thing is, if you're like smaller, then it's way easier to learn. So if you get like bigger, then it's a bit hard. Yeah, but you can get there. So, yeah.
Un conseil que j'aimerais, c'est de vraiment s'affilier dans un club pour profiter de l'infrastructure, des professeurs, parce que voilà, comme je disais, c'est non seulement la condition physique, mais aussi la connaissance parfaite de l'élément qui est très longue à maîtriser et qui est indispensable pour après en profiter pleinement.
Moi je dirais il faut foncer dans un club, bien sûr, pour être bien encadré, parce que au-delà du sport, en fait, je pense que l'océan c'est thérapie aussi. Ça fait énormément de bien au corps. On apprend plein de choses de l'océan aussi, ça fait mûrir. Et voilà, et le surf ça donne beaucoup de plaisir, et si on veut être compétiteur, il faut pas oublier la base, c'est vraiment le plaisir avant tout.
Merci beaucoup. Maxime talked about the ocean as being a therapy in itself and being providing extreme good health. I know Céline told me before that, just like you said, it requires a lot of patience as a sport. You have to wait sometimes for hours in the water just for a few seconds or minutes surfing on a wave. So it's capturing a moment of grace with long hours of patience. So it's very impressive to know that to capture these moments of grace, you have to be so much patient and perseverant and so on. So thank you so much for introducing us so much. I just wanted to ask a specific question also to Maxime and Céline. Maxime and Céline, did you practice? I know I read the dates when you started surfing, but did you start surfing after your body's experimented limitations, or did you practice before?
Alors moi j'ai toujours voulu pratiquer avant mon accident, mais j'en ai jamais eu l'occasion malheureusement, parce que j'ai toujours aimé l'élément aquatique en fait. Et donc j'ai eu mon accident en 2011 et j'ai commencé le surf en 2013. Donc après l'accident, j'ai eu une initiation avec mon centre de rééducation et j'ai de suite adoré, et à partir de là je me suis dit il faut pas lâcher. Je suis reparti de moi-même quelques mois après, et après ça enchaîné tout ce qui est entraînement, compétition et tout. Et voilà, j'en suis là maintenant, mais j'ai commencé après mon accident.
Alors moi c'est un petit peu pareil, j'ai commencé le surf quand je suis tombée malade et je ne connaissais absolument pas. Et ça rejoint ce qu'on disait tout à l'heure, moi mes copines au collège, mes copains allaient au surf, mais les filles ne surfaient pas. Pourtant il n'y a pas si longtemps que ça. Et voilà, j'adorais l'eau, c'était mon élément, et je voulais un sport que justement je ne connaissais pas en étant valide sans mes problèmes de santé, pour qu'il n'y ait aucune comparaison possible et que ça soit vraiment une nouvelle expérience, une nouvelle vie, de nouvelles choses, sans point de comparaison possible. C'était vraiment d'une grande importance. Et puis voilà, ça a répondu complètement à mes demandes, et comme Maxime, petit à petit, ça a pris de plus en plus de place dans ma vie, dans ma passion, et les compétitions sont arrivées. Et voilà, c'est vraiment une passion et une thérapie aussi. C'est très très important pour le mental, pour le physique, par rapport aux problèmes de santé, ça a une grande importance.
Merci beaucoup pour ces partages très personnels qui sont une leçon de vie, je crois, pour nous tous et nous toutes ici présents. Cette capacité à dépasser toutes les limites et toujours en symbiose avec l'élément de la mère nature qui redonne vie, qui redonne toute l'énergie nécessaire. Donc merci beaucoup pour ce partage. Alors peut-être donner maintenant la parole à vous toutes et tous qui êtes ici présents. Si vous avez des questions, I'm very happy to give you the floor now if you have questions for our great surfers and sportsmen and women around this table. I'd love to give the floor. Maybe Dawe, from your sport, from skateboard to surfing, do you have any questions to ask our friends? Or anyone as well, but Dawe.
Zijn er ook surfers die niet mee willen doen aan Olympische Spelen? Are there surfers that don't want to compete in the Olympic Games, even though they can?
That's a good question. I think when surfing got into the Olympics, because surfing was also before a bit of a lifestyle sport, so it took some years before it really got into more top sports. So when it got into Olympics, there were a few different opinions. Some people liked it, some people didn't like it. I think most of the athletes that compete on the high level, like the WSL, the World Championships, and the people from the ISA, they're competing to get to the level of the Olympics. So I think when you're already into this competition, for them it was a dream coming true, getting into the Olympics. But I think there are also a lot of free surfers, we call them. They just surf, they don't compete, but they have the same level as some of the surfers that qualified. And I think for them, yeah, it might not be such a special thing. They just want to surf. They just want to.
But is it also possible to get a career out of it without competing?
Yes, there are actually a lot of surfers nowadays. They just shoot movies and they just go on surf trips with a film crew and get sponsors because of that. There are whole social media around it. So there are other ways to get, to earn your money and be a professional than just competition. Yeah.
Tu veux say something?
No,
Yeah?
that's
No.
it.
Peut-être vous demander à vous aussi, justement, si... Ah, pardon.
Peut-être vous demander aussi à vous, Céline et Maxime, est-ce que effectivement il y a des surfeurs identifiés en France qui ne souhaitent pas entrer dans la compétition et qui arrivent à en vivre tout aussi bien, voire peut-être mieux, j'en sais rien, et qui considèrent que la compétition c'est pas le plus important.
Alors en France, j'ai égaré les noms, je me rappelle plus, mais oui, ça se fait beaucoup, mais dans tous les pays d'ailleurs, il y a beaucoup on les appelle les free surfers en fait. Ils sont sponsorisés parce qu'ils ont un très beau surf et ils arrivent très bien à en vivre sans faire de compétition parce que justement le monde de la compétition ne leur convient pas. Ils perdent tout leur surf quand ils rentrent en compétition, justement dès que le chrono démarre, leur surf n'est plus naturel. Donc ils restent free surfers en fait et ils partent, ils voyagent, ils font des photos dans les magazines et ils vivent très bien leur vie comme ça.
Ça vous tente pas?
Je pense pas qu'on ait le niveau de ces personnes-là pour vivre de ça, non. Mais oui, après, bien sûr qu'on serait tenté.
Ah, ouais.
Mais oui, parce que c'est quand même un rêve de traverser le monde et de surfer différents spots et de pouvoir vivre de sa passion, oui, forcément.
Alors, justement, ça m'amène à vous poser une question that takes me to the next question. Do you practice in a special way when you prepare for the Olympics? Does it change? You talked about the timing and so on. Are there levels like this in different aspects of the practice that you have to work on when you enter competition that differ from when you're not?
Well, for myself, talking about, I think the ISA competitions that are the qualification events to the Olympic Games, and I think we approach this just as a normal competition. You take, of course, more time to train. For example, this year we had the qualification event in Puerto Rico, so we went there with the whole national team. 1 month before the contest to have more training time, get to know the waves, and spend time there to train in the waves. But it's always the same. You have to be physically fit, mentally fit. Just make sure you really know the breaks very well because every wave is different. For example, now the Olympics are held in Chopo. That's a really heavy wave in Tahiti. And the surfers that qualified, some of them never really surfed there, so they now getting special trainings that happened this last half year. So they went there for training to get more into barrel surfing because it's a very specific wave for barrels. And gets very heavy, so they really had to spend hours there to practice.
Yeah, the wave that the Olympics gonna be held is, as Myrna said, it's pretty heavy wave. So some of them we know they're gonna compete in the Olympics, and they were like a few months ago they were there, and training every day and getting comfortable with the wave because like there's so many water in the wave there, and it's also pretty shallow. So the wave breaks on like a coral reef, and it's like 50 centimeter, I think, high. It's below sea level, so if you fall down, then you can get some major injuries as well. So a lot of them you see surfing there, they're wearing like a helmet as well. because if you hit your head on the reef, it can get like really worse. So yeah, they train a lot there now, and hopefully the waves will get really good, because I think the Olympics is like a 4-day window, I think. So it can get like really big in 4 days, but it can also get like smaller. But also like on the smaller days, it's like really shallow. So yeah, you've got big waves with a lot of water in it, and you've got like smaller waves. So let's see what's gonna happen, and I'm pretty excited to watch. Yeah.
Vous n'êtes pas encore concerné, mais ça viendra certainement. Thank you so much for these answers. It's a question I have on top of my heart from the beginning, because you say specifically that you train differently depending where you come from, and you seem to indicate here in The Hague, where both of you were born and trained, that you don't get the same quality of waves and so on. So does it mean if you're born in a place where you can practice, where the waves are the most challenging, and you have a kind of advantage in comparison to you coming from the Northern Sea, how do you make for that kind of inequality from the beginning, so to speak? Can you make for it? Do you have to travel systematically, or can you still train well enough here?
Yeah, well, coming from the Netherlands as a surfer is sometimes hard. It can be flat, like no waves for a month sometimes. So yeah, when we were still in school, as I told, we sometimes skipped a lesson when we saw it's really good. So we just went in the water whenever we could. But it makes you also very hungry as a Dutch surfer. You always want to go, you always want to surf. And yeah, you're very eager to learn. And once you're somewhere abroad training, you want to get everything out of the training you have. But yeah, for sure, coming from Netherlands has a little bit disadvantage compared to other surfers coming from Europe or all around the world, because they always have the good training conditions and surfing circumstances. And yeah, we can train, but not as much as they can. And yeah, we are lucky that we can travel a lot for training, and now also with the Dutch national team. So we spend also a lot of time abroad to have better waves and better conditions.
But to my understanding, aren't there any artificial sites where you can surf?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but in the Netherlands too, to my understanding, no? Or,
yeah, there's one in Rotterdam actually. It's Riff 010, and we've been there now twice, and it's a really nice wave. So yeah, it's the wave it's artificial, so the waves are made, so it's a perfect wave for every time actually. Yeah. And there's like a few waves in a set, so you can catch like 15 waves per hour actually. And sometimes here in the Netherlands you struggle to get some good waves where you can go get some good turns on it, and there the wave is like perfect. So.
Okay, and you can simulate over there the high waves you have there in Haiti, or is that not possible? Or
where do you say?
The same waves you have in Haiti. During the Olympics, is that possible, or is that?
No, I don't think it's possible. Maybe if there's like a really big pool with really big walls, because like the wave in Chopu is like so much water in it, and it's pretty big. It can get like 3.5, 4 meters high. So the wave in Rotterdam is like a little bit smaller. It's like 1.5, I think, something like that. So it's not the same. So it would be nice to have like that in Holland. Yeah, it would be really sick. It's not the same, yeah. But like artificial waves, you can practice a lot. Sometimes there are surfers from that are living in a country there's no waves. They get like a wave pool, like in Switzerland. There's one in Swiss, and you've got like some surfers that have never seen the ocean or not going to the ocean really often, and they can train there. So it's perfect, I think. Yeah.
Voilà, de votre expérience sur les vagues artificielles, le fait que vous êtes avantagé dans un contexte.
c'est vrai qu'on est très avantagé. On habite à un endroit où il y a beaucoup de vagues différentes selon à seulement quelques kilomètres finalement. On peut avoir des petites conditions comme des vagues quand on va au Osgore qui sont beaucoup plus grosses. On a la chance de pouvoir s'entraîner dans des conditions parfois plutôt idéales, plutôt variées. Et c'est vrai qu'on a essayé également, on a eu la chance de surfer en Suisse sur cette vague artificielle, qui est un entraînement qui fait gagner un temps considérable, en tout cas sur le gain de niveau qu'on peut avoir. C'est un entraînement assez exceptionnel.
Moi, je considère qu'on vit quand même dans un paradis du surf au Pays Basque, parce qu'on a une côte qui est extrêmement découpée. Donc, quand les vagues sont assez petites, comme disait Céline, on peut se rapprocher des Landes, qui sont des grandes plages de sable. Nous, on surfe essentiellement sur Anglette. Et quand les vagues sont trop grosses, en fait, on peut aller au sud, parce que les vagues arrivent de l'ouest, en fait. Et du coup, si on va plus au sud, en fait, on est orienté nord. Donc, les vagues arrivent un peu en travers et ça divise un peu la taille par deux. Donc, voilà, on peut s'entraîner toute l'année, été comme hiver. Et au niveau des vagues artificielles, après, oui, on a eu la chance d'aller en Suisse. Moi, j'ai eu la chance d'aller au Pays de Galles aussi en 2019 pour tester une ancienne technologie de vagues artificielles. Et c'est énorme parce que, alors pour nous qui sommes parasurfeurs, c'est un élément, on va dire, où on est plus en sécurité, selon nos handicaps, en fait. Et c'est un gain de temps considérable, comme l'a dit Céline, parce que on a eu la chance l'an dernier de s'entraîner 10 heures en Suisse. Je pense qu'on a gagné 6 à 8 mois d'entraînement de surf. C'est énorme.
It's really incredible. Echoing what you just said from Maxime, saying that they live in a paradise for surfing as well. Have you been in this paradise? Are you regularly visiting the area? Could you tell us?
Yeah, the south of France is one of the best places in Europe, I think, to surf. So we've traveled there a lot. Yeah, it's from here is I think 12 hours by car. So it's doable. So we just put our surfboards in the car and drive the whole day, and then you're there and you have the perfect conditions. And it's far but not that far, and it's an amazing place to just get more waves. Yeah.
Your experience of France?
Yeah, I love it. Just as my sister said, it's perfect there. It's like great temperature. Also in the winter, the water temperature is not as cold as here because the water gets here like 5 degrees, and I think there's like still 15, something like that maybe. So it's a great place to escape the winter here and get some pretty good waves. So that's perfect. And to practice on like the barrels, like the ones that are in Chopu, we don't have like very often some barrels, only like some chocolate barrels we call it, like some brown water waves. But there the barrels are amazing and you can practice a lot on it. So, yeah.
And despite all that love, you didn't want to start learning French a little bit? Un petit peu, voilà, l'Alliance française, there for you. Oui, and now you have friends ready to host you, so that's really good. That's really good. So, any other questions from the floor? Be very happy to take them. Yes? Yes?
So can I ask you a question?
No.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. No, I was just wondering what's the most complicated part about might be too. I was just wondering what was the most complicated part of surfing. Is it actually surfing? Is it getting sponsorship? Is it as women getting respect from the other people that are also participating? I was just wondering, what's the most difficult thing in the whole discipline as a whole? Et du coup, en français, je me demandais quelle était la partie la plus compliquée du surf. Est-ce que c'est la partie d'obtenir des sponsors? Est-ce que c'est faire du surf en soi? Est-ce que c'est, par exemple, pour les femmes, d'avoir le respect des autres participants? Voilà, c'est quoi la partie la plus compliquée de la discipline du surf en général? I don't know. Merci. Oui.
Yeah, well, if you talk about a starting surfer, then I think the most difficult part is reading the waves. It's very hard for a lot of people. They're able to stand up with somebody pushing them in the wave, but once you have to do it by yourself, you have to read the waves and know which one is a good wave, which direction you should paddle, when you should start paddling. All those things require a good timing, and once you do it more often, you put all the hours into it, you get better at it. So it starts to come naturally and you don't have to think about it. But I think that's the most difficult part in the beginning. And yeah, if you're going further and like you were talking about sponsorships, I think surfing is a very expensive sport. Also, if you look at competitive surfing, you have to travel a lot, you have the competitions that cost a lot of money. So to be able to afford that all the time, you really need to get some sponsors, and sometimes it's hard to maintain that and be able to go to all the competitions, for example. Yeah, that's
Yeah, for a beginner and also for me, just as now, I think the waves are so much different. Every session you go in, the waves are different. So if you want to learn like how to do a turn or a reverse or air, you need some the same waves actually. So it's pretty hard to get like the same wave every time. So yeah, I think to do that, to get in the level, the higher level, you need like do a lot of work in it and travel a lot and surf different kind of waves so you can practice the same maneuver every time. But I think just like we talked about the wave pools, I think that's a really good way to practice the turn every time the same way, so you can get much faster in the progression, I think, and so that's a really good way. Yeah.
Non, ça peut être compliqué pour plusieurs choses. La première, c'est qu'on est de plus en plus nombreux à l'eau. C'est un sport où il y a beaucoup d'engouement, où tout le monde veut essayer. Le confinement du Covid est passé aussi par là et tout le monde a envie de pratiquer des sports à l'extérieur. Et c'est vrai que nous, on a la chance d'avoir beaucoup de plages, mais on voit de plus en plus de monde. Et pour la sécurité, et notamment pour moi qui suis handicapée, ça peut être un peu compliqué. Et puis c'est vrai que c'est un sport qui coûte très cher parce qu'il faut beaucoup d'entraînement. D'autant plus que j'ai besoin, moi, d'être accompagnée dans l'eau. Donc voilà, c'est une charge de plus. Il faut avoir de bons sponsors et puis pouvoir s'entraîner, découvrir d'autres spots à l'étranger. Ça entraîne des voyages qui sont très onéreux. Donc c'est un sport qu'on aime tellement, quoi.
Alors, pour débuter le surf, c'est très compliqué. C'est un sport où je pense qu'il faut aimer souffrir. C'est comme je l'ai évoqué tout à l'heure, pour une heure de surf, on va glisser 40 secondes sur une vague. Mais la sensation est tellement folle que c'est comme une drogue, donc on en redemande. Mais ouais, avant de prendre une vague, ouais, il faut vraiment beaucoup s'entraîner. Moi, je pense qu'avant de prendre des vraies vagues, j'ai mis 2 ou 3 ans à m'entraîner avant d'être vraiment autonome pour prendre des vagues tout seul. Donc c'est compliqué, il faut aimer souffrir. Et après, comme tous les sports, je pense que le nerf de la guerre, c'est l'argent. Hein. Donc les sponsors, on en cherche quotidiennement, c'est très compliqué. Et oui, le surf, c'est un sport qui coûte assez cher parce qu'on voyage dans le monde entier pour des compétitions. Donc ouais, c'est assez compliqué par rapport à ça.
Merci pour cette question pleine de défis. Nous arrivons presque au terme de cette table ronde. Il est 18h15, c'était vraiment passionnant. La parole a été très fluide et en tout cas, on va pouvoir prolonger cet échange autour d'un barbecue. Le temps de transformer cette salle en salle de restauration. on vous retrouve to share a barbecue together. We have completed this roundtable. We want to thank you with all our hearts in this Hartbeach club for sharing so much of your passion, of your love for the sport. Despite all the difficulties, we understand there is so much fire in your eyes that we want to kind of taste it ourselves. So thank you so much to have opened our horizons to this amazing discipline. You talked about sponsors, so it's a great transition for me to thank our sponsors for the night. We have quite a few. Some, of course, the Hartbeach Cafe made it very possible, the club, the surfing club. So we thank them. We thank also the two brands that are very famous in the world of surfing, which is Quicksilver, a partner of this club, but also a partner for the raffle. Maybe you have seen we are selling raffle tickets and you can win a lot of beautiful prizes that our team of interns have collected. So we thank also all the different companies that have accepted to sponsor this raffle. The Film House of Den Haag. We have Poséidon, which is a brand, local brand here. Les Belles Saveurs. We have a beautiful yoga center where you can even practice yoga in French, from what I understand. We have also Rotterdam, another beautiful museum not far from here, where you can visit the whole of the Netherlands in one shot. So that's almost like surfing. We also have KLM that was able to fly our surfers, so we were really very happy to have them with us. TV5 Monde, our very French-speaking channel, also very good to learn French, should you like to learn French watching television programs. We also have Explorer, a beautiful little symbol with a tree, so I don't know where they are taking us, but definitely present here. Sophrology, so that's another dimension. After surfing, if you want to relax, you can earn that prize. So we were very, very proud to have these sponsors with us that are making this event possible. I apologize if I forget to name some of them, but they are all in our hearts, and we thank you so much. Very happy again to prolong this evening together and forget about the weather outside, or even feeling proud that we can bring so much sunshine together indoors when outdoors is more windy conditions, but it makes it very exotic, at least for us, and not for you maybe. But so we are very, very proud, and to continue to celebrate and to announce our Olympic Games. We have the two little mascots here, you see, present. So we hope to see you in Paris or in Tahiti or wherever you are going to be for these Olympic Games. We shall follow you and be very attentive to all your amazing achievements in sport. And same for Maxime and Céline. Thank you so much to have come from so far to be with us. And you started to say we may pave the way for this very surfing club to have an accreditation or une reconnaissance to be part of parasurfing facilities. Do you want to close the table with this perspective? So maybe we have been a stepping stone for a new dimension for this very club in The Hague. So that's amazing.
Non, mais pour terminer, je voulais remercier Nina pour l'événement, Hélène, Hartbeach, l'ambassade française ainsi que l'Alliance française. Et dans la logique, ça serait bien de peut-être pérenniser l'événement. Voilà, on en a discuté en privé tout à l'heure. Donc pourquoi pas, dans les mois à venir ou l'année prochaine, inviter le fondateur d'Andy Surf qui pourrait labelliser la structure, l'école de surf ici, pour permettre à l'école d'accueillir des personnes en situation de handicap. Et on a appris tout à l'heure avec nos amis qu'il y avait un athlète qui était en équipe de Hollande qui a participé aux mondiaux. Donc voilà, si on fait venir des personnes en situation de handicap en plus dans les écoles aux Pays-Bas, pourquoi pas agrandir l'équipe de Hollande, et voilà, ça ajoutera aussi peut-être de la crédibilité pour devenir une discipline paralympique. Voilà.
Merci beaucoup, merci à toutes et à tous. Donc, joie de vous retrouver autour de notre barbecue qui va se mettre en place petit à petit. Soyez bienvenus. Et encore un grand merci à toute l'équipe des jeunes stagiaires de l'Alliance française de La Haye.